Well, my summer reading didn't quite go as planned, but I do feel like I had a good mix of fiction, non-fiction, adult, middle grade, and kind of a mix of genres in there too. Welcome to my Q3 wrap-up. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content as well as movie reviews here on this channel every week. I filmed at the start of the year a 25 books I want to read in 2025, so I will leave that linked up above because a lot of these books did feature on that list, which is good. I stuck to a kind of TBR. So I read 8 books in total, which I'm like, 8 books in 3 months. I used to read 8 books plus in 1 month. Like, what's going on? But I'm a busy person. I've started a new job. Like, we're okay. So I listened to the audiobook of Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And it's funny because I'd heard a lot of people online talking about this one, saying that it was slow to begin with and then it got going and they were like, oh my God. And it was slow to begin with and then it got going and I was like, oh my God, this book is great. I love the representation in this book. I love the subject matter. Like, you don't get a lot of like contemporary rom-com fiction set with like female astronauts. Like, this is so cool. And then at the end of it, I couldn't stop listening to it, so I got into my classroom and I continued to listen to it in my classroom, and then it was making me cry, so I was just sat at my desk in my classroom crying at an audiobook. So there's that picture for you. And then we have another one which was on my 2025 books that I wanted to read. This one I did technically start in Q2 but finished in Q3, so we're counting it as a Q3 read. It's The Griffin Sisters' Greatest Hits by Jennifer Weiner. Now, I love Jennifer Weiner, and this one is no exception. This one was giving Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, but also In Her Shoes vibes, which is like, if you know you like both of those books and or TV shows, movies, then this is like those two things had a baby, and is wonderful because of it. They had the world at their feet until the music stopped. So you learn about the Griffin sisters and their kind of rise to fame. And then we've got this dual timeline, which Jennifer Weiner always does really well, a dual timeline, where we have one of their daughters kind of coming into the music business and learning about all of the things that happened for the first time. And, you know, we've got the trauma that came with that, but we've also got the kind of family issues that come with that as well. And so, yeah, it was just a good book. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Jennifer Weiner. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, it blew me away or anything, but I really enjoyed reading it. And I think that the audiobook did a good job of distinguishing between the two sisters and the two timelines as well, which can sometimes be difficult when you are listening to an audiobook to distinguish between two timelines. So I thought he did a good job. And then on to something that definitely wasn't on the TBR. We've got a couple of non-fiction audiobooks which just kind of like sprung up at me, and so I borrowed them from the library, and that's how I ended up reading them. So first of all, we have Welcome to Pawnee by Jim O'Hare, which is stories of friendship, waffles and parks and recreation, which you'll be unsurprised to hear has now triggered a rewatch of Parks and Rec in this house. So we are currently rewatching that, which is such a comfort show for me. I think this will probably be like the 4th time I've watched it in its entirety. I mean, I like anything that kind of Greg Daniels puts out anyway. But yeah, really enjoyed listening to this one. And because it's from Jim O'Hare, you do get a different perspective. So you get like his perspective on things, but also he's got some really interesting anecdotes and stories about the other actors. And so I recommend doing the audiobook if you can access it, because he narrates it and he does kind of like little asides and things like that, and you get to hear the cadence of his voice as he's telling a story, so you know how like seriously he took himself in that situation. And it's not too long. It's a good audiobook, and if you're looking for Christmas gifts for people, if you have any Parks and Rec fans in your family, then definitely hard recommend this one. And then another non-fiction one that I picked up the audiobook of, which was kind of just popped up at me again in the library. We have In God We Trust, which is a tell some, because Josh Gad sort of does realise at the start of this one that, you know, he's not done with his life. And so he's just telling you stories of his life up to this point. We have chapters narrated by Ron Howard in here. We have, who's the other person? Mel Brooks weighs in on this one. It's really interesting. And yeah, I mean, I think we all have Josh Gad in our lives a little bit more than we realise, because I'm like, well, I listen to the Book of Mormon soundtrack all the time. So, like, obviously he's in my headphones when I'm listening to that. And then I also listen to Frozen songs an awful lot. So he's in my headphones when I listen to that. And I also kind of watch Frozen an awful lot. And then I was rewatching New Girl and he pops up in that. I'm like, actually, he's in quite a lot of places. And there's this crossover where, obviously, being the Disney adult that I am, he talks about Disney and growing up not that far from Disney World, and then his kind of workings with Disney and trying to get to work for Disney and the ways that he tried to get to work for Disney. And so I really enjoyed that side of it. And I also love that there's a story in here of what he got for his bar mitzvah, which was a letter from Disney CEO Michael Eisner. And I'm like, that is, like, in terms of Disney geek level, that's pretty up there. I really, really enjoyed that story. Again, the audiobook is narrated by him, so if you're going to do that one, I recommend doing the audiobook, because it just sounds like he's telling you anecdotes, and again, you can hear the cadence of things and how seriously he takes things, or not, as the case may be. And then I've got one YA, which was a leftover from my Pride Month reading. So again, I probably ended up starting this in the month of June and then finished it in July, which is how come it's in Q3. And this is I Can't Even Think Straight by Dean Atter. Dean Atter is an auto buy or an auto download, because I borrowed this one from my library, author for me. And he often writes in like poetic form. And this one was short and sweet, but really kind of talked about when you've got that kind of like intersectional discrimination and growing up with more than one label and the challenges that can put on you, even in today's society, or even more in today's society, while still being a good story. There's a good story arc here. And if you are familiar with Dean Atter's writing, then you will enjoy this one, because it's just exactly what you come to expect from a Dean Atter book. And I mean, I love this cover. There's another cover that's got cherry blossom on it, and I just don't like that one as much. I just love this twisty rainbow going round. I think it's brilliant. It's not the easiest of reads. There are some hard hitting bits in this one, but I really enjoyed it, and it was a good Pride Month read, even though I didn't manage to finish it during Pride Month. What happened was my audiobook returned to my library, and then I had to wait again for it to come back. So I read the first month, half in Pride Month, and then the second half at the end of July, because that's when it came back to me. And then, so we've gone fiction, non-fiction, YA, and now we've got some middle grade. We have got Holes by Louis Sachar. I never know how to pronounce this one, but the audiobook of this one has not only an author's note at the end of it, but also has like top 10 things you didn't know about holes. And so again, if you can, highly recommend the audiobook. This is middle grade. I had not read this one, and I read it with my new class, and it's been fantastic reading it with them. They literally chant, read the book, and like they sort of shout at me when I say, no, we have to put the book down now. And so if that's not a recommendation, I don't know what is. But I really enjoyed this one, and I am very excited to now watch the movie and bring you a book versus movie. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that one. And then I've lost my other one. Where is my other one gone? So then, yeah, so that's YA, middle grade. And then I did read another middle grade. I've just lost it. Where's it gone? And this is one I read with a different class. Let me just bring it up here. There we go. So it was Roof Toppers by Catherine Rundell. And again, I know that that is a kind of rite of passage middle grade book that you would think that you would read with a year 5-6 class, but I had never read it before. So again, it was a first time read for me. I like the fact that it has cello in it because I played the cello when I was in school, and so I like that linking back. It wasn't like a blow me away, oh god, everybody's got to read this book, but it was decent. I'm not going to carry on with the series though, because I know that does come as part of a series. And then we're on to some adult fiction now. We have All Wrapped Up by Heidi Swain, which, I mean, this autumnal cover, this book could not be more autumn. And as a classic Heidi Swain book, we have, you know, a heroine who is not in the best place, but then she encounters the town of Wimbridge, and we know that Wimbridge fixes everyone. They come in with these, you know, sad backstories, and they're a little bit lonely, and they're needing some TLC, and Wimbridge gives them that. And you know that there's going to be some kind of awesome meet cute in there. This one involves a dog, and that there's going to be some romance in there. And we had that romance combined with amazing autumn festival. So we now have a winter festival, and is it a spring festival we've got? There's one of the other season covered. And yeah, I can see the autumn festival coming back in Heidi Swain's book next year. So I'm really excited for that. This one is sweet and lovely. And if you're looking for something that's cozy, that's going to satisfy, you know, you want a nice story with a happy ending, go for this one. I'm not saying it didn't make me cry, because it did, but you know, with Heidi Swain, you're going to get a satisfyingly happy ending. And then last couple of adult fictions that I read. I feel like I read this one like years ago now, but really I think it was maybe another one that I started in June and then finished in July, and that is why it feels like so long ago I read it. But this one is Probably Nothing by Lauren Bravo, who is the author of Preloved, and I did read that one ages ago. But I read a sampler of this one literally like 2 years ago or something, and really liked the sound of it, and then just never got round to reading the book. I had it, I bought it as an audiobook. I think I had it on NetGalley as well. And so I just never got round to reading it. And I don't know why, because this one was really fun. Bryony doesn't actually mind being single, so she doesn't understand why she keeps saying, all right, sleeping with Ed. After developing the ick on their 5th date, she decides to end things, only to receive a call that Ed has died. Worse yet, he seems to have represented her to his family and friends as his great love. Before she knows it, Bryony is drawn by the charisma of Ed and chaos of Ed's eccentric family and tangled in a web of her own lies. She's in too deep, and to make matters worse, she's experiencing a lot of physical symptoms that are becoming harder to ignore. So this one is definitely while you were sleeping vibes, but in the modern day with modern day problems. And I listened to the audiobook, and it did make me laugh out loud, but was like, you know, genuinely concerned for poor Bryony and poor Ed's family. But yeah, if you liked While You Were Sleeping, you'll definitely enjoy this one. But again, it's got that modern day twist on it. It's got modern day problems, and it's got modern day humour in. So it's not like, oh, we're going back to the 90s now. It's got that humour in there. And I think that it's just a solid read. Like, it's really funny. It's a rom-com, but like definitely a less hopeful rom-com than the Heidi Swain. And I think that a lot of people will be able to relate to Bryony and or Bryony's friends. But yeah, really enjoyed it. And the sort of like symptoms and things, and it's on the longer side as well. So if you're looking for something to take up a little bit more time, definitely this one. But yeah, her symptoms and things, you were like, oh, could be this, could be this. You'll sort of become a hypochondriac with her. And then one that I definitely read in a larger chunk, I picked this one up at the start of the holidays. This was my like first and almost only summer holiday read, and yeah, read this in sort of like 2 big chunks. And it's obviously Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell does this thing where she releases a book for me at the start of the summer holidays, so that I've got something to like really look forward to reading at the start of the summer holidays. As if I wasn't looking forward to summer holidays enough, she releases a book. And yeah, it is a thriller, and it is a like dual life, don't trust this man, don't let him in story. But being a Lisa Jewell, you've got like, you're led down one path and then you're like, oh no, that's not the thing, and then you're led down another path and then you're like, this could be a thing, but it might not be a thing. You just like, you don't trust the narrator, you don't trust anyone in the book, but you know that this guy and maybe some other guys are trouble. But like, oh yes, it's really hard to talk about a Lisa Jewell novel without giving away spoilers. I do tend to make standalone reviews of Lisa Jewell novels, so if you've made it this far in the video and you would like one, do let me know in the comments. So there you have it. Yeah, we've got thriller, we've got rom-com, we've got middle grade, we've got non-fiction, we've got YA. Don't say I don't read broadly. As always, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell, because I am going to be making a book versus movie for Holes, and if you want me to, I can make a standalone review of Don't Let Him In. I will have Q4 wrap up, obviously, coming for you at the end of the year. There are still books on my 2025 books I want to read that I have not read yet, so I'll be getting to those very soon, and you'll get to find out what made my top 10 books of the year, as well as some Vlogmas content starting in just a couple of months' time. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. I mean, by the time I film this, Vlogmas content is going to be starting in about 6 weeks, so that's really not too bad. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will be back with another video for you very soon.